Okay, so how was that? Any comments? Was it helpful? Should we do this more with other industries? Any comments? Anyone?
I mean, yes, it was really informative. I think you should do it for other industries too. It's very, very well done.
Okay, thank you. All right, yeah, again, we just touch on surface because, I mean, Jean-Claude, you're an analyst, you know that how much of a, from due diligence, how much work it takes. But I just want to open at least a channel so we know
Yeah,
what to look for, and then we can do more on our own. So, all right,
absolutely. Yeah, it was
thank you.
good.
Thank you. Any questions? Any other comments?
Yeah, I think it's yeah, it was really great. Thank you so much for that. If we can have similar thing in the technology, that would be great, specifically because of the shortage and everything. It might be a great opportunity in some stocks, you know.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, when you think about technology, it's like an ocean, right? So I think right now, for instance, semiconductors are very much followed, or like
Exactly.
iCloud, for instance, or even we talk about hacking and, you know, more with securities, for instance, those are also hot. So of course, yeah, I would love to. And again, like financials are hot subject now. I mean, or I also thought, because we look at the valuation, you know, with the loosening of the rules, would, for instance, gaming and or maybe leisure, for instance, hospitality, because again, they've been beaten up so much. That would be interesting. I don't know. These are my thoughts that I thought we could look at that too. So, but okay, appreciate that.
Hey, Ramin, I have one question. I like all these analysis. Definitely learn a lot. Just curious on one side. That is the labor cost, because basically there's a shortage of laborers. Is this mining business very labor intensive or not?
Good question. That's absolutely important. And that's what I mentioned about majority of the miners, unfortunately, Sean, and I think Martin would agree, when you go to the towns of like Sheffield, which used to be coal country, right? A lot of people were very uneducated. They get out of school and they don't even go to school. And basically they become, let's say they used to be coal miners. And what happens because of lack of skills, and again, it was one of the most, these are one of the most dangerous jobs. The health-wise is just the lifespan of people is just, it's very short. So they get sick. Unfortunately, they don't have a lot of protection. So what happens, labor costs are usually pretty low. So when we talk about, for instance, you know, the inflation and the wage pressure, they usually are on the bottom of the, you know, as far as the earnings, and they basically want to have their survival in a sense. So, and these are the countries, you know, when you think about, even when we talk about Australia, you look at like a Perth, and you know, they are in a really way off countrysides. When you look at Peru or look at even Chile, and you look at even Bolivia, these are the countries that, or Brazil, yeah, the wages are not a big thing. And that's what the strikes happen, not because they want a lot more money, they just want to survive. So that's a very valid question, but unfortunately they're taken advantage of. And we go to Africa, the same thing. Africa is one of the richest, obviously, resources in the world, obviously, but unfortunately the cost of while the living is going up, their earnings doesn't keep up with it. So I don't know if that's helpful, Sean, but
Oh
that,
yeah, sure.
except the CEOs and other things, of course, they make their own, you know, their money. But it's not, generally, it's not as, earnings are not as important as the infrastructure and other expenses that they have.
Yeah.
for the
Well,
labor.
I remember, yeah, a long time ago, I had a friend back in China, uh, whose family actually owns this mining business. They made a lot of money, tons of money, just by owning it. Like you said, the labor cost was pretty low. But one thing is, she told me her father was so afraid the telephone will ring at night. Because that means some accident happens, the
Yes.
government can shut them down immediately, and their business, can have a tremendous loss overnight. That could be one big risk factor. I mean, for the mining business in China, from my understanding. I don't know whether the other country has similar risks.
Yes, no, that's a great that's always available. If you ever watched the movie of, is it movie 30? Was it? I guess it was a Chilean mining. The mine collapsed. It was about the heroes. People survived for. Yes, Sean, it is a big liability. Years ago, unfortunately, again, because of the monopoly in some ways, the owners would get away with that. So now, I mean, especially now with the environmental issue, I didn't put that down, but environment plays a big role also with the mining. That's another risk. But now they're becoming more aware. In the past, they would just pay a little bit to the families and they just push it aside. So now I appreciate that. Yes, I should add that to it is becoming more. In the past, it was, but it wasn't really that big of a deal that they couldn't, they would just come back. I've seen it. So, but yes, it is definitely, if it was any other industry, it would be so many of them just shut down. So but they
Yeah, so
still,
maybe ETF is much better or much safer in that sense.
yeah, I mean, that's what you have, like the GDX and GDXJ. But that's the reason I want to share you that screen that I had, is comparing some of the stocks, how they did compared to GDX. But you're right. I mean, I would recommend, when it comes to like companies that they're well all over, I would recommend definitely ETFs. And this is a well-established ETF, by the way. So you can, it's pretty diversified. But again, if you're lucky, you can find. I've been pretty good with some of my gold or silver trades, so I've been lucky with them individually. But ETFs also definitely with a very good way, especially option wise. It's more actually attractive if you use the ETF rather than individual stocks. Even like Newmont Mining, or like Franco Nevada doesn't have a lot of options, even though it's a great company. So if I want to play option strategy with it, it's a little difficult. So
I see.
yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other questions, comments?
Ramin, I want to ask you one more question,
Sure.
if I may. In Finviz, those charts the tables you were showing us,
Yes.
when it says Canada, does it mean it's Canadian company, or is it that it's traded in Canada?
No, they're actually based in Canada. So, but they are listed in the United States. So,
okay. So, all right.
so they could be Toronto listed, but they're also in the United States. So,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Excellent. Wow. All right. This is great. So, all right. If there's no other questions, and I really appreciate your comments and feedback. So it's always helpful to see what our future brings. But as I said, I like to do a combination of different things, from technology, from technical analysis to strategies. And, I think it would be good to actually how to be a value investor, for instance, or how to analyze different, again, investment industries. So anyway, with that in mind, I appreciate if there's no more questions or comments. I wish you a wonderful day. I look forward to seeing you on Saturday. And again, hopefully the microphone was good, so we are all good for that. All right. Okay. Have a wonderful day. Appreciate your being with us.
Thank you, Remy.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye now.
Thank you, Ranjan.
You're welcome.
Bye.